Ready.
When I'm ready, I'm ready.
Do it.
Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dolphin Smart Ships. We are developing a product, a new tagline, changing how we move by sea for good. That might change, but kind of like it right now. Next slide. Okay, imagine if we could move people and goods in the real world as freely as we can move information through the internet. Imagine that for a second. What would that look like? What kind of impact would that have on society? It's possible. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, most of the world is covered in water, 70.8% to be exact. It is the oceans, rivers, and lakes that separate us. Therefore, it is the ship that has the greatest potential to connect us. In the hull of ships, historically, all of culture, technology, people were moved in the hulls of ships, right? Nope, not yet. Keep it up. Keep it on the ship. So, because the ship has the greatest potential to connect us. Sorry, I messed up. Go to the next slide. I do want to go to it. Okay, so there's me. So a little bit about myself. I am a captain of unlimited tonnage. That means I can be captain on any size ship, super tanker, aircraft carrier, you name it, I'm your guy, okay? Most of my experience on ships has been in the developing world. I worked delivering food aid, PL-480, if any of you guys are familiar with that, all throughout West Africa, East Africa, Madagascar, Papua New Guinea, Middle East, Southeast Asia. I've been a lot of places. And one of the things that I've observed from my perspective as a mariner working on ships is that the biggest barrier to growth is the price of oil, okay? Because that's how things move by ship. It's oil that moves the things around the world, and disparity is caused just because people don't have stuff. They used to date this woman who was a doctor in West Africa when I was doing the volunteer thing. She said she would go to the hospitals, they didn't even have the little vacuum thing, which is apparently like a really important deal. Didn't know that? They don't even have that, right? So like disparity by definition is just like there's more stuff in one place than there is in another. How we solve that? The ship. Okay, so just to introduce, okay, go.
Along with reducing the disparity that my friend was talking about, there's also another problem that we are targeting, that is like latest report by IPCC said that we are on the brink of catastrophic warming. And UN said in the next 5 to 7 years, we'll be having reached 1.5 degrees of global warming temperatures. And right now we are at 1.1. That half a degree more will cause 10 million people to lose their homes due to rising sea levels, threat to crop yields, contributing to higher inflation, and so on and so on. With renewable energy and this technology, we have, with the rise in green technology, also we have a significant opportunity to disrupt the oil industry and solve like 2 problems by removing the oil costs and moving to renewable energy.
Okay, next slide. Yeah, we'll go through that. Okay, so here we go. So what are we looking at here? That is one of the original cars. It was developed by Henry Ford in 1896. It wasn't called a car back then. It was actually called a quadricycle. Okay. What is a car? When we look at a car, we see like wheels, windshields. On this thing, you see that little weird handle thing. But really, the heart of the car is the engine, or what I would call the propulsion system, right? All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, so Mr. Musk, he's talking about propulsion systems now. We all know him associated with electric cars and whatnot. So this is a direct quote from him. To get long-range shipping, I don't know how fast you guys read, so I'm just going to read this. Okay? So to get long-range shipping to use lithium ion, you need to redesign the ship to take advantage of the fact that it is a new source of energy. It is a different architecture. Just like with a car, you wouldn't stick a battery in a gas-powered car. It's much more efficient for the battery to be at the structure of the car. Okay, next slide, please. Baliantz, I just went ahead and put my own quote up there. I think they say better than Mr. Musk. So this is a first principles concept, and it is not intended to be bolted on or applied to existing ship types. It is instead meant to be the main element of which a ship is built around to accommodate the balance between the particular payload of the vessel and the elements of the propulsion system. Let's go to the next slide. So here we go. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. DSSPS. Dolphin Smart Ship's propulsion system. All right, we got 5 different elements here. We have solar panels, everybody knows what that is. Hydrokinetic turbines, it's just a fancy way of saying turbines that are underwater, right? Wind capture, again, fancy way of saying sails. Batteries, we all know what those are. 5, electric control system, right? So what you guys need to understand is on every ship, there is meteorological forecasting software that tells us what the weather is doing around us, right? Little known fact, there's 200 terawatts of potential energy over the oceans in wind power alone. 200 terawatts. How much do we need to run all of Earth's electrical needs? 20 terawatts. 10% of the wind that's on the oceans can run all of Earth's electrical system. We just need a fraction of that. So what do we call a meteorological software application on a ship? We call that an energy finder. All of these combined, that's an engine, okay? It's the same thing as the Ford quadricopter or whatever he called it. It's an engine, okay? 2 minutes, next slide. Long haul ships can be fully battery powered, great opportunity. Mr. Musk, once again, richest man in the world, okay? Next slide. All right, now we're getting to some of the technical nitty gritty. I have a friend, one of my advisors, he's the chief engineer for the Navy. He did this. We have a patent pending application, or we have a pending patent document, and this is part of it. So next slide. You can look at that. It's in the business plan, which you guys can all have after this. Okay.
All right. Using that technology, that alternative energy technology Eric just explained to you, we can monetize this by licensing it to shipping companies and then also using it for hospital ships, cargo vessels, and passenger vessels.
Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the hull formations. These are ships that I've designed. These are my designs of ships that we can wrap around the propulsion system. Okay, 1 minute. Next slide. Okay, this is cassette loading. We put a bunch of containers on a barge, load it in there. That's the stern. Next slide. This is what we developed in the class. Next slide. Here we go. Here's let me see all that. Okay, there I go. Okay, so what am I asking? Okay, I'm not a business guy. I didn't come in here with any kind of MBA or anything like that. What I'm looking for is a co-founder. I would give you 50% equity in my company if we could just make this happen. I'm not looking to make a big pile of money. I'm just looking to make this happen because this adds real value to the world, people. Next slide. Okay, this is a bunch of lists of stuff that we got to do. Next slide. We can go over that in the questions, 30 seconds. Okay, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world, okay? The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, what does that mean? All progress depends on the unreasonable man, all right? I'm going to be unreasonable. You guys can ask me whatever questions you want and say this is a pie in the sky idea, and it probably is. But it's going to work, and it's going to happen. There we go. That's it.